last thing I want it to do is slip around because I might cut myself. If you want to do tooling on a belt, might I suggest veg tan? Oh man, look at these pants. These pants are great. Look at this. I'm thinner than I thought I was. We're going to start everything off today with two questions about the 12-inch ruler from Harbor Freight. The first question is from Stephen Henderson, who asks, have you tested the Harbor Freight 12-inch ruler? I did, and it works, but it's not my go-to. Yes, the 12-inch ruler was tested in my original video regarding leatherworking tools that you can buy from Harbor Freight. It does a decent enough job. For $2, you really can't beat it. It's not my go-to ruler either, but I did keep a extra one, which has ended up in my bug out bag for when I do leatherworking on the go, like when I go camping or somewhere. I really appreciate your question, Stephen Henderson. Thank you very much. The second question about rulers is from Harry McLaughlin. Harry asked me, I kind of noticed that your cork-backed non-slip ruler is upside down. Is there an advantage to that? The reason that I used the cork-backed ruler upside down is because I had one of my viewers say, hey, have you tried using your ruler with cork side up? Because it gives you a much cleaner cut. So in the video, I did actually try it. I don't know if it gave me a cleaner cut, but I do know that it slipped around a lot more without the cork backing up against the leather. And when I'm doing a straight cut and I'm using a ruler as a guide, the last thing I want it to do is slip around because I might cut myself. So I am going back to the old way. Cork down, numbers up on the ruler, use a cut that way. A little bit of pressure and it will not slide around. Thank you for your question, Harry. Mark Ostroff asks me, wouldn't it make more sense to use snaps or screw together rivets for belt buckles, just in case the buyer might want to switch buckles on you? You know, that's a really good question, and I have many times used Chicago screws to put them together, and there's times where I've used snaps to put them together. The real reason that I tend to just use copper rivets is, one, they hold up great. They're probably the best holding rivet that I've ever used in leatherwork. Number two, out of the rivets that do hold well, it is the most appealing, I feel, the most appealing looking out of all of them. But there are times, like I said, that I've used the Chicago screws, and it is when someone wants a Western belt buckle on their belt. Now, there's not a big call where I'm from for the Western belt buckles. People just want a nice, solid belt that's going to hold up your pants. I probably make about 10 regular belts for every one Western belt that I make. Mark, thank you for your question. I appreciate it. Psst, hey, real quick, if you're enjoying this video, do me a favor. Give it a quick thumbs up so YouTube can share it with more makers just like you. K. Carl asked me, can one do tooling on one of those Weaver leather belt blanks made out of the buffalo hide? Very good question. I don't feel that these belts are the best if you want to do tooling. You probably can do tooling on them, and they're probably not going to look good if you ask me. They're not really designed for that kind of belt. If you want to do tooling on a belt, might I suggest veg tan. You can get some really nice leather that's veg tan. You can, like this, buy a pre-made belt buckle with the snap holes on it and the edge paint. And it's really designed so you can tool it if you wanted to. Wet it, tool it, let it dry, dye it whatever color you want, and you can put antiquing on it, rehydrate it with some oil. It'll look great. K. Carl, I really appreciate your question. Thank you very much. My next question came from Ray B. Hamilton. And Ray asked me, when getting the length of a belt for someone else, should I ask for their existing belt size, pant size, or should I ask them to measure their waist size? The person's from out of town. Ray, it really depends on how much you like gambling. If you like gambling, go ahead and let them tell you the belt size. I can tell you from experience, I've had the same situation before. You are not the only one. And I've had people say, well, why can't I just give you my belt size? Why do I have to measure it? I wear this size pants. Okay, well, this size pants in Levi's jeans and this size pants in Dockers are probably two different sizes. And they might be the same size, but you get what I'm saying. the sizing on clothing isn't really exact. As a matter of fact, the more expensive the pair of pants, it is likely that the sizing is going to come out smaller. In other words, let's say you normally wear a 34. So 34 is what you buy. If you buy a really expensive pair of pants, there's a chance it's going to come in a 32. Why is that? Oh man, look at these pants. These pants are great. Look at this. I'm thinner than I thought I was. Let me go ahead and pay the extra money for that. They do get you. Despite what you may think, they do get you. And there are subtle differences in the consumer mindset when it comes to purchasing. And the retailers know this. And the manufacturers know this. So definitely don't go on pant size. You can ask someone to give you their waist size. They can measure their waist and probably give an accurate measurement. But since the belt doesn't go right against your skin, it's going to be a little off. They're going to have to measure it around, let's say, a pair of pants they normally wear. I wear jeans most of the time, so if I were to measure it this way, I would definitely measure it with a pair of jeans on. It's thicker material, and it is going to impact the length of your belt. I highly encourage you to ask them to measure their belt in this specific way. You take the end of where your buckle is, and let's say we have a buckle on this end, okay? Say we have a buckle. You measure it from this part where the leather starts. They measure from this point of the belt all the way to the hole that they use the most. Very key. The hole that they use the most is the most important thing. When they make that measurement, that is the size of their current belt. And that is the size of their current waist with whatever pants they normally wear. And that is the size of the belt that you should make for them. Now, if they're on their last hole, guess what? You're gaining a little weight. That's okay. When you make the new belt, it's going to have extra holes beyond that. A lot of people are going to resist giving you a measurement for their current belt. And I don't know if it's because they are most assuredly certain of their waist size or their belt size, or they don't want to face the facts that perhaps they put on a little bit of weight. Because I'll tell you what, someone that has lost weight, they are quick to measure their belt and give you that measurement. But if they're afraid that they've put on weight, or they know that they've put on weight, they are less likely to take that tape measure out, stretch it out, and face the music. So please do encourage this. If you look at my wall on my posts on YouTube, there is an image of how exactly they can measure it. And feel free to download this image and send it to them, because this is the best way to measure a belt. Ray, thank you for your question. I really appreciate it. And my last question comes from Mad Mike. Mad Mike, I'm new to leather crafting. I would like to make knife and axe sheaths. Those are a lot of fun, man. What size thread and hole punches do you recommend for a good start? You want something that's going to be a little durable when you do something like this. So I think maybe a 5mm stitching chisel would be great. And a 1 or a 0.8mm thread is good. I really like the Rivets Tiger thread. The Rivets Tiger thread is great because the Rivets Tiger thread will hold up to the abuse that some of the other threads don't. And it also offers a UV protectant that's going to protect it in the sunlight. When I go camping, my axe is in the sheath and it stays outside most of the time. It's in the elements. It's held up great, but you want something that's definitely going to hold up and last the test of time. Mad Mike, thank you for your question, and I appreciate it. If you've got a question for me, do not hesitate to ask. Do me a favor, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. Big Stacks grows, Big Stacks builds, and Big Stacks makes. And I'll see you next time for more fun and workshop shenanigans on Big Stacks Small Workshop.